One of the other things that really stood out to me in the film had to do with the idea of disposability and how, we're kind of living in a disposable generation. There was a really excellent passage from the film where they were talking about how historically there's been two categories of things that we use and then things that we use up. And so for a lot of companies, perhaps the goal or the way that they can make the most profit is for people to buy the things or treat the things that they use like things they use up, thinking, well, I can wear this, I can buy this dress, I can wear it once or twice, and then it's disposable. Only it was $10, so I don't need to feel guilty financially about getting rid of it, or just, oh, I'll just donate it, that kind of model. I think that's definitely something a lot of people live with. I need to step back a little bit and hear more about the environmental impacts of things and then the human cost. It does kind of make you think again just about what really is going into that, those different hearts and hands that are kind of involved in the production of this clothing as it's referred to in the film. The filmmaker, Andrew Morgan, did an incredible job. They edited a lot of Black Friday footage, which you can definitely is the grossest holiday, if you'll call it a holiday, in the U.S. This ridiculous overconsumption. And then that is juxtaposed with people who are in the everyday production of these goods. So people producing leather, breathing in and working with these different chemicals. People who are, they show workers in India who are spraying the pesticides on cotton, all dressed up in protective gear because what they're spraying on the crops is so toxic. You see examples of people at the sewing machines. I mean, horrible conditions, poor light, and you see children on the floor. And then to see these people running around and screaming over these different clothing items. The idea that we're so driven by these wants in this fast fashion industry, and people don't really, unfortunately, stop to think about everything that kind of goes on behind the scenes and how many people are involved. Just when you're looking at one t-shirt, it's easy to think, oh, I'm just going to buy this from the store. It's just a couple dollars, no big deal. But then when you really look at every step along the way, it's heartbreaking and devastating.
When I was growing up, there was no fast fashion. And then when I got older, like 20 years ago or whatever, it started. And I bought in hook, line, and sinker. I literally had no idea. So it's not like I'm just some purist that's never gotten into shopping. I totally did. And like I said, even just last year and these past years, I'd shop at those fast fashion brands, not giving it a second thought. And now that's changed for me. Thank goodness. But this is the thing that really stood out to me. And I think this is kind of how it really is an illusion. What I mean by that is that one of the most poignant statements, and hopefully I kind of got it verbatim, was by Livia Firth. She said, they're making us believe that we're wealthy because we can buy a lot. But actually, they're making us poorer. And just the heads of these large fast fashion chains are the ones that are getting richer and richer and richer. And I thought, it's true. They make us feel like we have a lot of money because we can go into a store and buy 10 things for $5 or, a pair of jeans for $20. It's an illusion because you're just going to be spending more money in those stores and maybe not, pay a bill or, obviously we know there's a lot of student loan, and I'm talking about people that say that they don't have enough money to shop somewhere else. They'll say, well, I need clothes and that's where I'm going to have to shop. But there are other ways, I can buy these clothes, these fast fashion clothes, for a cheap amount and feel satisfied, maybe. What about the people that are making them? What about them? What if you were them? What about their lives? Who cares about them? And I just can't, in good conscience, buy something when I know that it's going to hurt somebody else, as much as I can. I think about it as a social issue I think about those women. What are their rights? How can I help another woman in another country have the kind of life that she deserves because she's a human being? Because I just believe that it's our birthright to have a healthy life, you know, to be able to afford to live our lives and live our dreams. I mean, I just think that's a birthright. And unfortunately, you know, not everyone's doing the right thing. And the people that aren't doing the right thing are the people that have the money that are, you know, kind of like pulling us along in this world. But like I said, we're not disempowered. We have power, and more than you think. I think I would just like to encourage people to be empowered and to live their life according to what kind of difference they want to make in their life. I think most people want to make a difference in their life. Most people care about how they act in society and what kind of things they're bringing to the table to help our world.
Absolutely. Yeah, and that's, I mean, definitely excellent points there. You're looking at the cost of whatever item. If you were to double, let's say you have a $5 t-shirt, if you were to double the wages of that particular worker, the cost of the t-shirt would go up 3 cents. So we're talking, you know, huge impact for these workers, but not necessarily huge increases in the costs for the consumer. Then also too looking at the other outputs that they can't really measure necessarily. So looking at water use, land use for growing the cotton or whatever other crops, looking at the chemical use and side effects on the people who are implementing those, or even, you know, on us at the end of the day. So I mean, all of these things like added together do just make it, you know, seem so much more essential to try to do something. And, you know, so there's a lot of things that we can do.
One of the other things I love about Livia Firth, she has, her company is EcoAge or EcoAge, I'm not sure how they say it, but like a consulting firm or something for eco-friendly fashion. But one thing that she started actually years ago was this green carpet challenge where she challenged other celebrities to wear eco-friendly green dress, you know. So it's becoming more evident at the different events that those kind of people go to. So she started that, which I thought was really neat because her name's Livia Firth and she's married to Colin Firth. So she goes to these Hollywood type of events. And she also talks about wearing things 30 times. Like when you buy something, are you going to wear it 30 times? And I thought that was really cool. I wanted to start doing that with some of my stuff, and maybe that would catch on. Some of the other things you can do are donate your clothes. And there's a lot of different organizations to donate to, apart from the ones that come to mind. Recently, I found out about a company here in LA who's helping former homeless women with their careers by dressing them. So they were asking for donations for like clothes that you would wear in the workplace, but maybe that you're not using anymore. So I sent a box to them. So there's, in your own community, you can find out who needs help. And
Look up like different donation centers
yeah,
that may be in your community towards different, you know, niche like markets. So whether it is like helping the homeless, or people who are unemployed get jobs, that's definitely a great way to empower others with the
yeah.
things in your closet that are just sitting there and not being worn.
There's Planet Aid, which came across my radar recently, and they have, I'm not sure if they're in every state, but they have boxes here in Los Angeles in different shopping center parking lots. And you can donate your clothes into there. And if they aren't able to use those clothes for someone, then they'll recycle them. I think another thing that we need to start implementing is just recyclable clothing. Like you can recycle polyester, you can recycle linen, I think. There are a lot of textiles that you can recycle, and then you can just make them into something else. So,
Absolutely. And
yeah.
that's a great way to kind of counteract. One of the statistics mentioned in the film is that on average, each American throws away 82 pounds of clothing or textile waste each year. And so 82 pounds, I mean, that's very significant. I was kind of horrified when I heard that. You know, these clothing items aren't really biodegradable, and, you know, when they're sent off to landfills, I mean, this is a huge a huge waste problem. So
Yes.
if clothing is able to be recycled, that's really amazing. And then on the other side of the coin, when you're purchasing clothing, there are a lot of things you can look for. It's easy to kind of get sucked into buying new items at the store just that look cool or that immediately, inspire you or you feel like you need to own. But to really think about what you need and what you want to wear, and even if you can try to sort of narrow down your wardrobe a little bit. There's a couple of ways people are doing this. Maybe it's with capsule wardrobes. Thinking about those essentials that can be worn in so many different ways and mix and matched with other items. So having things that will match with everything mean you can get away with just owning a fraction of the items. And so because you're owning fewer items, it's okay, you can maybe financially justify it or afford it to buy higher quality items that may be organic or fair trade. The items that aren't involved as much in the fast fashion side of things. I'd rather have a few of something higher quality with a better impact than a multitude of items where nothing is made in a way that respects the workers and respects the environment.
Yeah. It just brought to mind that really when I was younger, I had a capsule wardrobe. Because right now I'm really struggling. I want one. And for years now, even before I was vegan, I've wanted my closet. I know you can't really see this, but I wanted my closet to be just like a couple feet long. And that's what I wear. And maybe seasonal pieces kind of come in and go. But I really I'm having a hard time letting go. 40 or 50 years ago, most of our clothes were made in the United States. And now it's less than 10%, I think. And that's the other thing too, is that there are so many awesome designers out there that are making clothes ethically in this country by using recyclable items and organic items. And some of it, you can find a range from medium to like a high end. And so I think too, just like supporting locally, buying in the United States, that's a great way to spend your money. Having the textile industry make a resurgence into our country and our culture, I think that's really cool and really important. Especially for younger people that are coming up in the world and looking for something to do and work. And
maybe the fair trade concept, not necessarily workers in the U.S., but a way to pay workers and farmers a living wage abroad when they are producing goods overseas and in other areas. Just the idea, whether it's crops from farms or even the cotton industry, for example, and encouraging living conditions along the way, whether it's companies like People Tree that are mentioned in the movie, or even this summer my sister's actually interning with Mata Traders, which is a group based out of Chicago that is producing fair trade fashion. And so those are other alternatives too, or other positive alternatives of things to buy that then do give more of a living wage and better conditions to the workers. So thank you guys so much for checking out our video today. We have links in the description field below to all of the things that we've mentioned, including, of course, the documentary itself if you're interested in watching True Cost, which we both highly recommend. And you'll also be able to check out both of our social media links in the description below to kind of follow us and see more of what we're doing, talking about sustainable fashion and other topics that we focus on. So feel free to leave a comment letting us know what you think about these issues below. And thanks again for watching. Bye, guys.